pulled from consent. So I guess the consent calendar is just what?
Item number 7.
Item number 7. Oh, it is consent. Okay. We got the handsome Senator Morlock. I'm singing in the committee. So we'll start as a subcommittee. If we had a bill to be heard, does anybody want to testify? Do we have anybody coming down? File item number 1, SB 1149, Senator Stone. We are ready for you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. First, I'd like to thank the committee staff for their hard work, and I'd like to accept the committee amendments as author amendments. I'm pleased to present SB 1149. 9. Thank you. Which will help working families across California deal with the housing affordability crisis. The housing crisis in California is in full bloom, and low to middle income individuals across the state are being affected by the lack of affordable housing. More than 90% of California families earning less than $35,000 per year spend more than 30% of their income just on housing. As a result, more and more people find themselves renting a home instead of chasing the American dream of home ownership. SB 1149 does not try to reinvent the wheel and is adapted from and inspired by the homeownership tax credit from 6 years ago that many of you may remember. A qualified first-time home buyer will, upon the close of escrow, qualify for a credit of up to $10,000 or 5% of the purchase price, whichever is lesser. The bill also retains income restrictions, $50,000 for an individual filer and $100,000 for a married couple filing jointly. In order to minimize costs, this bill has a 3-year sunset. This bill may not solve all of our problems with making housing affordable for more families, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. SB 1149 is a help to boost up lower income and middle class families and helping them achieve the American dream of home ownership. I thank you for your consideration, and I urge and I vote.
Thank you, sir. Those in support? Any opposition? Questions for Senator Morlock?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. Thank you. I see you're making an amendment to make this available for any type of home, not just a new home.
Yes, so if you're buying a home that's been owned by somebody else, you're a first-time home buyer, it definitely would apply.
Because my briefing said that homes that have never previously been occupied, so I just assumed that meant that it was a new home, but you're striking that in your amendment. Yes, just from an accounting standpoint, it says taxpayers must apply the credit in equal amounts over 3 taxable years. How do you do that?
I'm not an accountant like you are. I assume that it can be amortized over 3 filing periods.
So and it's not clear, Senator Stone, if this is a refundable credit or a non-refundable credit.
A non-refundable credit is the intent.
So then if you have a $9,000 credit, you just take $3,000 a year?
Correct. That's correct.
What,
I mean, obviously, if you don't have the income to take the entire credit in one taxable year, you can defer that credit towards another year to
Up to
capture,
3 years.
fully capture it.
yeah, no, I'm trying to visualize.
It's not refundable, according to the experts.
No, that's what the senator said. It's not refundable.
Yeah, sorry.
So you parse it out over 3 years, maybe some years, good years, some not, but I'm just trying to get it clear. But we don't have a demand problem. Homes are selling, correct?
Homes are selling. They're obviously getting more expensive. We do have in Riverside County, we have a lot of homes being developed in the Coachella Valley, some entry-level housing in the city of Desert Hot Springs. So in my county in particular, it's going to help a lot of people that work in Orange County and work in LA County that have to commute, that really want to have the ability to own a home, the American dream of achieving that. So I think this will help move a lot of product in certainly our county, which is the working base for many of the coastal counties.
I think it's noble. I've just come here, Mr. Chair, with a real problem with credits. I'm just been kind of negative on tax credits, so forgive me for being a little negative, but I see that this is really a nice gesture for certain individuals. It's still going to be tight to get any kind of credit based on the qualifying numbers, but I'm nervous about the state budget overall, so that's where I'm sort of coming from. And I see we're solving one problem, that is trying to get some kind of financial relief, but we're not having trouble selling real estate. It's not like we're solving 2 problems.
Well, we're creating a niche for those people that otherwise wouldn't be able to buy a home, that are caught up in this rental cycle and have no ability to acquire wealth. And so, I mean, I speak when I graduated from pharmacy school. I couldn't afford to get a home, but there was a program in Cypress, California that I was low income because I just graduated from pharmacy school. I was able to get into a small condominium and start building some wealth that ultimately allowed me to move up many years down the line. So, and then also remember that as we get more of these low-income people into homes, they're going to be paying property taxes, having more children, having more sales tax coming into the state. So while there'll be a delay in some of the recapturing of those credits, I think in the long term, via property taxes, I think it's going to be a very positive thing for the state. And it's got a 3-year window on this where we can see, you know, how well it's really doing. So.
I have to briefly interrupt you, sir, to establish a quorum. Thank you, sir. Can I establish a quorum? Secretary, call the roll.
Hertzberg.
Here.
Hertzberg present. Nguyen.
Here.
Nguyen present. Bell. Bell present. Hernandez. Hernandez present. Lara. Morlock. Morlock present. Pavley.
Have a quorum. Madam Vice Chair.
Senator Stone, I actually really like the bill, so I want to thank you because you're looking out for those who, I mean, a combined income of $100,000 per couple is not a lot. We're talking about, this is more the younger generation and the teachers. If they're a married couple, they're 2 teachers. This is the target that we're looking at. And so I believe this is actually a good thing because, it helps boost home ownership. It helps, low-income, middle to low-income families who are just starting out. And so I do appreciate your thoughtfulness and the bill itself.
Thank you very much.
And I'll move it.
The bill's been moved. Senator Stone, question I have of this, I understand the notion and the importance of helping out folks and to buy a home, and I completely agree with its objectives. My only question is, from a banker's point of view, you go out and you buy a car, right? And you want to buy an electric car. When you go to buy an electric car, you get a credit. If you lease that electric car, those credits immediately apply to your monthly payment. And so all of a sudden, what might have been not affordable makes your car payment affordable. The challenge with respect to this is that What you really want to do is to get a credit toward the down payment or get a credit towards something that a banker could apply to so that you actually have a direct impact. Because how does a banker on a bill that has a 3-year sunset look at that and say, okay, there's an asset that I'm going to take in for purposes of an extra $10,000 or whatever, $20,000 or what it is, that I can then apply to the payments, because they can't do that. What you really want to do if you're going to apply is to give somebody an upfront credit. I'm not suggesting it's possible given the impact on the budget for which Senator Morlock raised. I'm just thinking like a banker, and if I want to actually make this happen, how do you do that? What's your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, I'm hoping that, like it was in my case when I graduated from pharmacy school, didn't have any money, and my parents loaned us $10,000 to buy the condominium in Cyprus, and we paid them back. And hopefully some family members are going to be able to help them with upfront costs with the understanding that there's going to be tax credits and they're going to be paid back.
Is that Stone Bank available to all other people in California?
We're just trying to create options for the working class, that many of whom reside in Riverside County, and would love to have. I'll never forget the dream when I moved into my little 750 square foot 2-bedroom condo, never expecting out of school that I'd ever own anything, and the thrill of having that was something I'll never forget. And I hope that a lot of young people today that are caught up in this rental cycle will realize that same feeling of home ownership and start acquiring some wealth so they can graduate as their families gets bigger to moving into bigger and better digs.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions? Please.
This is one of the bills, and I just feel we should have a standard policy that after X number of years, they get reviewed again.
Just 3 years.
3 years, thank you.
Yes.
Because, as
Yeah.
you know,
If it doesn't work, it's
never,
exactly.
and how many billion do we have on the books? I mean, it's huge, isn't it? It's like
Huge. To credits,
30-something billion. I mean, it's
43
it's
billion
absolute-
between credits and deductions, something like that.
And I know some people say, well, that's good because then there's less money for us to spend on other priorities. But actually, there sometimes over time, these tax credits, well-meaning at the time, aren't the higher priority any longer, and it's almost impossible to get them off. It requires a 2/3 vote to eliminate a tax credit, simple majority to put it on, almost politically impossible to ever get a 2/3 vote.
3-year credit, sunset 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Bill's been moved. Anything further, sir?
Thank you for the opportunity. I respectfully ask that I vote.
Secretary, call the roll.
Hertzberg.
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Wynn. Wynn, aye. Bell. Bell, aye. Hernandez. Hernandez, aye. Laura. Morlock. Havley. Havley, aye.
Thank you, members. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Hold it open for, thank you, sir. Okay, next up, we do this in file order, or people here, because Baker was here before Gordon. What's the rule here? I don't know.
We normally do
File order? I know, but I might be, but I know the bosses around here. Okay, Assemblymember Gordon, file item number 2, AB 241. Sir, I can't remember what we advertise. File order, okay. Because Baker was here and early. Okay. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I'm here today on Assembly Bill 241. Let me begin by thanking the committee staff for his work on this bill. Staff notes in comment 2 on page 3 of the analysis that the provision describing circumstances for entering bankruptcy could be read as inconsistent with prior legislation. I believe that the staff's suggestion that the provision in question be limited to jurisdictions that entered into bankruptcy prior to the effective date of AB 506 makes sense, and I'd be happy to take that as an amendment.
Thank you, sir.
On the bill, AB 241, this bill would give a voice to retired employees in local agency bankruptcy proceedings. Under current law, a public agency prior to filing for bankruptcy must either declare a fiscal emergency or go through a neutral evaluation process with interested parties. Ideally, these interested parties include creditors, bondholders, and employees, and that they all work together to reorganize debt while avoiding bankruptcy. Prior legislation, AB 506, specifically referenced participation in these proceedings by a representative selected by an association of retired employees of the public entity. Now, individual retirees would have a hard time being a participant in these proceedings. And in the case in Stockton, there was an effort by a group of retired employees to try to organize and come together, but they couldn't find each other. There was no database, and they didn't have access to records. So AB 241 would, under very specific circumstances, require a public entity to provide retiree contact information to a 501c5 nonprofit solely for the purpose of advocating on behalf of the retirees' interests in any bankruptcy conversation or proceeding. The legislation is narrowly crafted, and it attempts to address this narrow circumstance where there's a practical need to share information to benefit the organization of retired employees. I would respectfully ask for an aye vote, and I do have a couple of folks who would testify on this.
Mr. Chair and members, Pat Moran with Aaron Reed and Associates, representing the Retired Public Employees Association. I have Pat Samsel here from the City of Stockton. He's a retiree who made the request from the City of Stockton for the names and addresses of the retirees from Stockton, so they could notify them, number one, of the bankruptcy, and two, to help raise funds to hire an attorney so they could have standing during the bankruptcy proceedings. The city denied the request. In fact, they didn't even respond to it, which made it exponentially more difficult to contact the retirees from the City of Stockton. They brought us this bill. We thought in this very narrow circumstance it would be warranted to allow the city to give them the names and addresses of the retirees from the city so they could protect themselves in bankruptcy proceedings. And Pat Samsel's here. He's the one that worked on this for the retirees in the City of Stockton, and I'll let him tell his story.
Thank you. Thank you kindly, sir. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Thank you all for letting me examining this bill. This came about as a result, as I said, of Stockton's bankruptcy. And during that time period, the City of Stockton had sent several letters to retirees, particularly the 1,102 retirees who were going to lose their health benefits from the City of Stockton. And that amounted to over $500 million worth of benefits for retirees. The day after they sent the letter out, I made a specific request for a copy of that mailing list so that we could contact retirees and start forming a group to deal with this issue, and also as a way of being able to communicate with the retirees. It's kind of hard to get the information out if you don't know where they live and who they are. The city ignored it. They didn't formally respond, and then calling the human resource director, we were told that they wouldn't provide a list because of the privacy requirements in state law. So we had to, as a group, when we're incurring legal fees of $10,000 to $20,000 a month in those early days,
Very much.
rush around, and we started forming our members mainly by word of mouth and email, and we'd send out emails and solicit email addresses from other people, and over time, over a period of about 9 months, we got up to something like 600 out of the 1,102 members who had lost their benefits. It took, we never did get to all of the members who lost their health benefits.
Really?
Wow. And as a result, it made it difficult to send out newsletters on to let them know what was happening, what to expect in the future. And those of us who were participating in this process had already gone through the grieving process of recognizing we were going to lose our health benefits, which roughly translated out, in my case, to about a third of my retirement as far as what I had to pocket in the future. Later on, somewhere after a year or so into the process, the city agreed to send out a letter to all the retirees, one in which they had to approve every single word of, to at least let us know we were around, and that we had a website to where they could look up information, and ultimately, we all became, those of us who were active in this whole process became appointed to the official committee by the U.S. trustee once it got to that point in the bankruptcy process. But that was somewhere around $300,000 to $400,000 down the pipe in legal fees by the time we got there. And it was it's very late in the game. All the agreements had been reached, with the exception of one by that time, so there was not much for us to be able to agree on as far as recovering something out of what we had lost out of the $500 million. Essentially, we ended up settling for $4.1 million out of $434 million, I think it was, that was the estimated liability on our claims.
Perfect. Thank you so kindly, sir. Appreciate it very, very much. Others in support? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Member Ted Toppin for the California State Retirees. In support, urge an aye vote. Thanks.
Thanks, sir. Any others in support?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Jim Ewert with the California Newspaper Publishers Association. We identified this bill a little bit late and approached the author, Mr. Gordon, and the sponsor of the bill with some concerns that we had about the disclosability of information. They have agreed to address our concerns, and we are proceeding with language probably to be amended into the bill sometime in the future, and we will keep the committee and staff apprised of how that goes. Thank you.
Very much appreciated. Any opposition, other than that one point of concern? Questions from the members of the committee? Sir.
Chair, I've had the joy of going through Chapter 9, and it's kind of a crazy time. So I could see where maybe staff was shorthanded for a little bit, but wouldn't CalPERS have this information?
Not necessarily, and not in a manner that we could get to in the same way that a local jurisdiction would.
I find that curious because we just had someone from the newspaper industry, and they've been able, through the California Public Records Act, to get all this information. That's why you have the $100,000 club on websites. And so I'm trying to figure out, Mr. Gordon, sir, the necessity that, you know, if there's already avenues available. It seems to me if I were to attack this, I would be able to use the information from CalPERS, but exempt, say, law enforcement, which always tends to want to be excluded from addresses, et cetera, unless they're, you know, willing to do so voluntarily. So I'm trying to figure out the need, and also with Senator Wieckowski's bill, or now Senator Wieckowski bill, AB 506. I'm trying to figure out what's deficient and why it isn't working.
If I may, Senator, CalPERS obviously has the names and addresses of their retirees. First, the city of Stockton has the names and addresses of the retirees too. They're the ones that did the mailings to Mr. Samsel and the other retirees. That's why they made the request and didn't respond to it. CalPERS, when the request is made for that information, they'll give out the name and other requisite information that's requested. They won't give out the addresses of the retirees or the employees. The reason we need the names and addresses is so we can contact them and let the retirees know about what's going on and whatnot. That's why we have this bill, and it's very narrowly crafted, so we can get that information only under these circumstances.
In Orange County, we have what's called REOC, Retired Employees of Orange County. So they're already formed. I would think they're a 501c4 and not a 5.
And that's a good point. When Mr. Samsel and the retirees in the city of Stockton, they formed under a 501c5. You could be a C4, C3, or C2 if we needed to expand that so people wouldn't have to reorganize to be a C5 if they're already a C3 or something, we'd certainly be willing to entertain that as well.
Why doesn't the legislation just require CalPERS to give addresses? Then you can get to it so quickly instead of bothering a city that's scrambling. Because Chapter 9 is horrific, the time commitments to.
Well, public employee groups and RPEA for that matter, whom we represent and whom we're running this bill for, they're very protective of that information. They don't want their addresses.
I mean, CalPERS is a party to the bankruptcy. They're fighting away. Oh, in Stockton, they were there present and said, you go ahead and try and reduce our benefits or we'll take you to court. I mean, CalPERS is a key player in the whole proceedings under federal court.
I'd like to expand on why I sort of disagree with that, and that is because I attended every single bankruptcy hearing and all the pre-hearings. The judge didn't even let the account attorney speak, and that's because they're a contractor for the city of Stockton. Their relationship is between the city of Stockton and with the city of Stockton. As a result, the employees and retirees don't have a direct contact except through the city of Stockton. And as a result of that, that was an education to me to realize that CalPERS sort of played second fiddle up there in bankruptcy.
Anything further?
Senator, that's part of the reason, too, because of this contractual relationship between the local government entity and CalPERS, that we are looking to go to the local government entity.
And so does it have to be a C5? Why don't you make it?
I'd be willing to look at expanding that. We started with the C5 because C5s are what are defined as labor organizations as compared to an advocacy organization, a C4 or a C3, which is a social benefit organization. So we were looking at something that was more defined as a traditional labor organization. Happy to explore looking at other alternatives.
Thank you.
We'll work with you on that, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, sir. Moved by Senator Bell. Anything further? You close.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, this is a narrow bill to try to protect the retirees who have served our local communities, and it is also written in such a way that there are protections for the release of any information received by the 501c5 or something else, and also protections for these employees or retirees. So with that, I'd respectfully ask for an aye vote.
And maybe I just, as you move forward on this, maybe take a look at this idea of the various iterations of the not-for-profit entities might be a good idea, given the recommendations from Senator. Secretary, call the roll. What? We had a motion, I'm sorry. The motion, it was moved, do pass as amended. Amendments were accepted to appropriations. Secretary, call the roll.
Hertzberg?
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Wynn? Bell? Bell, aye. Hernandez? Hernandez, aye. Laura? Aye. Laura, aye. Morlock? Pavley? Aye. Pavley, aye. 5-0.
5-0. We'll hold it open. We have to hold it open? No. We're going to hold measures out. Thank you so kindly, sir. Next, file item number 3. Thank you for your patience. Assemblyman Baker, AB 1399, AB 1399. As a matter of fact, before I do this, since I have everybody here, let me just do the consent calendar. File item number 7 on consent, AB 2910. Do I see a motion from Senator Bell? So moved. This is due pass to the floor, recommended for consent, AB 2910. Secretary, call the roll.